त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Welcome everyone who's here in real life, and welcome everyone online. We're very happy to have you here with us today for a lovely meditation. That's what we're all here for. And I would like to introduce Madhav, who has been with us before talking about the right side. Today we're going to focus on the central channel. That's the lovely place where we like to go for meditation. But if it's your first time, don't worry. Madhav's going to catch us up, and we'll all have a lovely meditate and even listen to a short excerpt of a talk of the founder of Sahaja Yoga, this meditation, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, and a very short segment we've got for the later part of the program today, which will take us into our second deeper meditation. But Madhav, would you like to tell us a little about our subtle energy system?
Sure. So, hello everyone. If you look at that chart over there.
Shall I point for you?
Yes, that'd be great. If you look at that chart over there, that shows the subtle system, which is another way of saying, or it was described by Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, who's the founder, and you can see a picture right at the top left. And she talked about it, but it's actually been known for a long, long time. I think, was it 14,000 years, or as long as people can remember? But broadly, if you look at the picture, and it's a picture of a person, it has what we call energy centers, and there's 7 of them, and they look like little stars right from the base of your spine, which is the orange one, right up the top, that central line to the top of your head. And you can also see 3 what we call channels, and those, though, that's a yellow bar, which is the right side, and there's a white bar, which is the center, and there's a blue one, which we call the left side. And if you've attended before, you would remember that the right one is our kind of active conscious mind. And if we're going to talk about it being a state of being or an emotion or a quality, it's our kind of active, energetic, conscious mind. It's where we think and do and act and kind of plan. But But the left, the blue one, is we call it the left because it's on our left side, but it's the unconscious side. So it involves feelings, it involves emotions. And if you had to equate it to a state of being, it'd be the past. So be thinking about the past or being in the past or living in the past. Whereas the right is the future, and it's thinking about the future and planning for the future. And we'll talk about the center, I think, later on. And Auntie Lynn, if you wanted to do the first or do a kind of an introductory meditation in realization.
Yeah, sure. So even if you're a regular, you've been plenty of times before, awakening and strengthening this meditation process is the goal of the moment. So we have this energy, everyone has this meditative power within themselves, and it's actually coiled up inside this sacrum bone at the base of the spine. And this is your evolution power, it's a feminine evolving quality, and she's just waiting for you to ask her to rise up and take us to our next stage of our evolution. And that, in fact, is what the meditation is, that you're taken beyond our current state of being in this last energy center, the brain, which is full of all of our activities of the past and the future. But we're going to be connected to this all-pervading energy, this all-pervading energy of divine that has made everything grow, ourselves and our environment. And it is a planned thing, strangely. And the next part of the plan is to get our self-realization and to evolve into a spiritual being. So that's a very simple thing to do. All of us here together who have that already awakened, we've got the vibe, so to speak. And if it's your first time, don't worry. You asking for this to happen, so it's not going over your desire, your will. So you need to want it to happen. So you want to awaken that energy. She's there just waiting for you to ask her to awaken. And she sort of sees the vibes and goes, yep, there's people who've already got this. This is the real thing. And she'll automatically rise up through your central channel that Mata's going to tell us a little bit more about in a minute, which is actually bringing you into the present moment. And more of that a bit later on. And she will travel past this brain center where you've got the culmination of ego and superego, which constrict your travel. But when your kundalini energy, that mothering energy, awakens, she sucks in those two ego and superegos and then just pops out through this fontanelle bone area, the Brahmaranda it's called, and connects you to that divine energy all around Mother Nature, you might call, depending on what your background is, your cultural background or religious background. So it's everyone in it together. So there's not one religion that's right or wrong. All the religions are in there, and all of these stages of our evolution have had different religions. And we're actually all one. It's not separate. We don't have to have a big argy-bargy fight about it all. We're all connected, in fact. So everything's in us and we're in everything. So I won't talk too much about it. It simply happens we'll go onto our left side and we'll use our hands to direct our attention to our pure desire side, our emotional side. Mostly we've probably been quite active, whether we've just gotten up or whether we've just been busy at work. We're on the right side, so we'll direct our attention to the left side from that pure desire, and then we'll be asking for that self-realization, where we'll realize ourselves. It's an interesting terminology, that self-realization. So, not to think about it too much, I will just quickly show you what we'll be doing. Our two palms will be open on our lap. We'll take our right hand on our left side. We'll place it at the heart. We'll place it at the stomach. We'll place it at the hip. We'll come back up to the heart. We'll go to the neck. We'll go to the forehead. And then we'll go up to the top of our head, to that fontanelle area. And then we'll ask for that awakening. we'll ask for that strengthening of that awakening if we've already had it. So something for everyone. And then we'll go into a little meditation together. So just relax, put your attention on your breath, just closing your eyes if you're comfortable. If you prefer to have your eyes open or they're just not shutting for you, you can just look towards the photograph of Shri Mataji you can see here, or the flame that's beside it as well. So if your eyes open, that's fine. But if you can, just close them and take your attention inside, focusing on your breath. Just allow the breathing to happen naturally. Don't force anything. Just be aware of the air coming in. And going out, and just allow it to slow down. So we'll put our right hand on our heart on the left side. And let's just to ourselves ask the question, who am I? Who is this I? Taking our hand down to the top of our stomach, near the ribs. So here we're going to ask this fundamental question. Am I my own master? Who's running this I? Is it me or is it everyone else I'm listening to? Now let's go down to the hip area. So it's the body, the crease where the body and the leg join. So this is just adjacent to where our mothering energy is waiting for us to ask for that truth about ourselves, the pure knowledge. So let's ask. We're going to address this energy. It's in Sanskrit called Kundalini. And that means coils, tiny coils. So let's ask this mothering energy, Mother Kundalini, please give me the pure knowledge of myself. This is our information about where we are in this subtle world of spirit. Please give me the pure knowledge of myself. Coming up to the top of the stomach. Now we're awakening our own Kundalini, by our mothering Kundalini, so we can now affirm that I am my own master. She will give you all the information at your fingertips, literally, about the state of your being. So you can say that. I am my own master. Mother Kundalini, I am my own master. You can see the truth about yourself and the truth about those around you. I am my own master. So she's going into these energy centers, or chakras they're called, just refreshing them, energizing them. Now we're coming up to the heart center on the left side. And here, where our spirit resides, we can now affirm, Mother Kundalini, I am the pure spirit. So we're broadening our own definition of ourselves. No longer just this body, this mind. I am the pure spirit. Just feel how that opens your heart. Keep breathing. I am the pure spirit. Now, as that Kundalini energy rises up to the next center, the neck, just placing your hand around the neck and the shoulder. Turn your head a little bit to the right so you can hold on to that area firmly. We're going to clear the passage here by taking out any guilt we feel for no particular reason. Mother Kundalini, I'm not guilty. Say that quite a few times. So we don't need to feel guilty about anything. It does hamper the passage of Kundalini through the center if we feel guilty. So let's get rid of it. Mother Kundalini, I'm not guilty. A few more times. I'm not guilty. Just feel that area relax. Keep the breath happening. I'm not guilty. Let's let that all drop away. Now up to the forehead. Let's rest the forehead in the palm of the hand, holding it firmly on the edges with the heel of the palm and the fingers. And here we clear this Agya center simply by forgiving. Mother Kundalini, I forgive everyone. I forgive. And importantly, I forgive myself. I forgive. A few more times. It's still quite sort of heavy in the Agya. Just clear it out, like just forgiving everyone and everything. Mother Kundalini, I forgive. I forgive everyone, and I forgive myself. And let's take from behind, let's tip the head up into the palm from behind. And here we'll just to really clear it out. Mother Kundalini, if I've made any mistakes at all, please forgive me. Any mistakes against my spiritual ascent. If I knew about it or I don't know about it, doesn't matter. Please forgive me. And of course you are forgiven. Now let's come up to the top center now. So stretching your palm out, just place the center of your palm onto the center of the top of your head, the place that was soft when you were a baby. And then we'll just massage it quite firmly, going left, forward, right, back. That's in the clockwise direction. if you had a clock face on top of your head. And here's where you will ask for your self-realization. And likewise, you'll ask for your self-realization to be strengthened and established. Mother Kundalini, please give me my self-realization. Mother Kundalini, please strengthen my self-realization. Please establish my self-realization. And then just releasing the hand, take it up a little bit. And if you're doing this regularly, you should be starting to feel a light breeze coming out of the top of your head. Very subtle. Could be far away, could be closer. Could be heat as well, as your mothering energy is clearing out all of your chakras, your energy centers, taking it away, out in the form of heat. So it's a good thing, it's going out. Try with the other hand, so bring the right hand open on your lap, take the left hand close, touching your head, then lift it up. See if you can feel that energy, that Kundalini. Few strands will be coming initially, and the more you practice it every day, you'll feel more, and you'll be more confident that it's there. Now, keeping your attention wherever you had your hand, keep both hands open on your lap. And wherever that cool energy is flowing on top of your head, just keep your attention there. You can even ask your Mother Kundalini, please let me feel the coolness in the Sahasrara, the 1,000-petaled energy center, the top of my brain. Any thoughts coming, just don't answer them. Not this thought. And then take your attention back to see what's happening on top of your head. Feeling your heart, where the breathing's happening. And slowly opening your eyes. You should feel the thoughts have abated slightly. We'll just do the short form of this raising of your Kundalini, and then we'll do a protection of ourselves with the vibrations that are now flowing in your hands. So let's raise our Kundalini with our left hand of desires raising up, the right hand of action winds around, up to the top of our head, and we tie a knot because we want to keep it up there. Let's do it again, left hand up, right winding around, tie 2 knots for the second channel, and the third time, because we've got 3 channels, 3 knots, And then just attention on your palms. You might feel those vibrations flowing. You should do soon, if not now. And let's now protect ourselves with those vibrations. So it's called a bandhan. We start from the left side with the right hand and just giving a nice rainbow over ourselves, 7 times over and back. So that's 7 energy centers we have, 7 chakras. So this is how we'll start and finish our meditation each day. So just a short meditation, daily meditation, will just strengthen that flow. Do you think we've done 7?
I think we've done 8 now.
Oh, I may have done 9. So, Madhav, what would you like to do now?
So I think what we're going to talk about today, as I said earlier, was the central channel.
Yes.
And I think I'd first off say that what we just did involved raising the mothering energy, which you can see coiled up right over there. I won't ask you to stand up.
No, okay.
In that little purple triangle, right along the center channel, just that white little bar right to the top of our head. And so what is it about the central channel, or what's some information about the central channel that people might find interesting or useful? So I think the first thing that comes or makes is very clear is that it's this one in the center. There's a left and there's a right.
Mm-hmm.
And if the left, as I said earlier, is the unconscious mind and the right is the conscious mind, the center is between the two. Mm. So it's the point at which you're not involved in your emotions or thinking about the past. And it's the point at which you're not actively planning for the future. It's the point at which, I think, if you're going to use it as a time, you're in the present, which I think is very interesting because that's the point of meditation. We're all trying to be in the present. We're trying to keep our attention right at the top. So when we're meditating, we're really doing 2 things. We're keeping our attention at the top of our head, and by doing so, we're staying in the present. And the second thing we're doing is we're asking that little mothering energy to go right to the top of our head. And I think I'd pick up on another thing that you said earlier, that you more than you meditate and you feel thoughtless and you feel more comfortable meditating being thoughtless, more strands of that little mothering energy make their way right up to the top of your head, and that central channel widens a little bit. Mm. And the reason or the benefit of that is that it's easier to meditate, and it's a cycle. It just becomes easier the more you do it. And sometimes it's a bit harder, sometimes it's a little bit easier, but just the more you practice, and not length of time, not for hours upon hours, but a little bit every day, and it just grows a little bit every day.
And it's not that you need a routine or a ritual about it. Mm. It's just whatever you feel like doing at the time. But just doing something each day towards that is the goal.
That's really important. It's just a little bit every day. And it's a little bit when you have the time and you don't feel like you have to be somewhere else. I think I said 2 weeks ago, the best time to do it is when you don't have time to be anywhere else and when you don't even have to think about being anywhere else. So early in the morning is often nice because you choose a time when you don't have to think about going to work or dropping the kids off at school or doing anything else.
Before all of those thoughts of the day have started as well.
Before you start planning. And then you do it at the end of the day just before you go to bed because that's when you have a little bit of time. And I think it's probably useful to say a little bit about it physically and what it means. So when we described it as being the central channel, it really is in the center of your body. It runs along your spine, up to the lower parts of your brain. And it also runs, and I'm not a doctor, so everything I know is based on kind of what I've kind of read or understand. It also runs along the vagus nerve, which is a nerve that goes down from the inner lobes of your brain through your mouth and into your heart. And what's interesting about that is if you think of it as a physical system as a whole within your body, it's the parasympathetic system. So there's your left nervous system, which is your left side, and there's your right nervous system, which is your right side, and then your parasympathetic nervous system. And if the left side and the right, if the nervous system, is what you actively do or think or feel, or what you unconsciously do or think or feel, the parasympathetic system is what relaxes you and what happens when nothing's happening. So when you're breathing, or when your heart's beating, or even when you're sweating, all those things that come outside of that flight and flight response that involve relaxing you and calming you, that's what the central channel is.
All the good things.
All the good things, all the kind of restful things, all the things that keep you kind of safe and comfortable. That's what it is. And so as the Kundalini rises, you feel safe and comfortable. When it gets to the top of your head, you get thoughts when you meditate. And I think that's all I can really say about it, unless there's anything you can think of. I think you gave a really nice analogy early on, Auntie Lynn, when we were talking earlier about a lake.
Yeah. So last week I had my analogy of, when we have felt that feeling of thoughtlessness, even before we get our self-realization, when we look at a beautiful view or look at the mountains, and if there's a lake in that view as well, when I think we had the question that we all liked the other week was, why do we have to balance ourselves? And that was because the lake, if that's us and our spirit, when it's all choppy, you can't see anything. But when it's totally still, it's reflecting the sky and the mountains and the trees, and there's no difference. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reflect divine in us. So when we're all chippy and choppy, there's no reflection. So our goal is to become that still reflection.
I think that's a really good analogy, because when it's chippy and choppy, you're kind of right-sided and you're active. And when it's brackish or it's covered in slime or kind of pond scum, and you're feeling left-sided and you want to keep it clear and clean.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that you mentioned earlier is that there's some certain things you can do to kind of keep that central channel clear and clean. And it involves balancing your left and your right so you can stay in the center.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing that we talked about last week was that you can put your right hand to the ground.
Yeah.
And
Let's do it.
you can close your eyes. And this is a kind of something you can do at home at the end of the day, when you're feeling kind of tired or kind of a bit burnt out, and you just need to kind of let go of everything and get ready to relax or to meditate or do both. And so what we're going to do is just relax in your chair and close your eyes. Put your right hand towards the ground and your left hand on your lap. And we're just going to ask that mothering energy again to take all the fatigue and heat and all the kind of worries and concerns and emotions or kind of frustrations out of our left side to our right hand into the earth, because we're using the elements again. And as you're doing that, you just have to relax and don't think about the things that happened. Don't kind of try and resolve the things that happened. Just let go of them and let the mothering energy take them out of you into the earth. And at the same time, just keep your attention on the top of your head, as we did before. And so what we might do is just relax and try not to think, just for a couple of minutes. There's all that frustration and difficulties goes out of your left side to your right hand into the earth. And if a thought comes, just let it go by and just try and keep your attention on the top of your head. Stay calm and relaxed. So that's your left side. And so we've got all that kind of frustration and kind of emotion out of our left side, but we have to do the right side as well. So we put our right hand on our lap, we put our left hand into the air. And I mentioned earlier we use the elements. So right before we were using the earth, even though we weren't touching it, we were using the earth. Right now we're going to use the air. And we're going to close our eyes again and just relax. Take a deep breath. And you ask that mothering energy again, please take all the heat and all the anger or frustration, all the planning and all the thinking and problems and solutions out of our right side through our left hand into the air. And just try and feel your left hand And you might feel pinpricks or cool or whatever, but as long as you feel something, that means something's happening. And again, just keep your attention on top of your head. And if a thought comes, let it go. But just try and take a deep breath, relax. You can just put your left hand back on your lap and just try and feel. Because now that we've cleared out the left and the right, we just want to be in the center. So again, if you want, you can use your hand to kind of, as a base, to put your attention on and Mother Kundalini on, and just raise it slowly up your central channel. Just put it on top of your head. And you can do it 3 times, or you can do it 7 times, but not too many times. Once you've done it, maybe 3 or 7, let's do it for 3, or if you've already gone past 3, you can do it for 7. Just try and keep your attention on top of your head. Just rest it there for a little bit. So you can just get into that meditative state of mind that we were talking about before. Every time a thought comes, you can just raise that mothering energy again, 1 or 3 or 7 times, so you can just let the thought go by. And just keep your attention on top of your head. Sometimes it'll come up and down, but you just let it go and let it stay on top of your head. You might just open your eyes slowly. So what we've done is we've done another meditation. So we cleared out our central channel after we did our first meditation and after our Kundalini was raised, which is what we call that mothering energy. We've done a second meditation, tried to do the same thing again. And you might have felt different things, or it might have been the same, but again, it's just feeling things, right, Auntie Lynn? And as you do it more often, you'll feel more. I think we have a talk.
We do. We have a short excerpt, which will take us also to the central channel. I'll just share that with everyone.
And if you're not sure what to do, it might be a minute or 2. Just keep your hands out. And while you watch the talk, I often find I will receive it best and I relax most when I'm keeping my attention on the top of my head. And so if you want, you can try and do that.
Let's take it back to the start.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. I came to San Diego long time back. And I'm very happy to come back here. When we talk of truth, we have to understand that truth is not what we understand through our mental projections. Mostly the mental projections give us illusions. There is no reality behind it. Truth is an experience of the central nervous system. For example, if this is cold, I can feel it. It is cold. Even if a child touches this, it can feel it. It is cold. If it is hot, we can feel it on central nervous system that it is hot. In the same way, the truth is to be known on central nervous system, not through mental projections. While we live on mental projections, some people come and talk about truth. We think he's the man standing on truth. He represents truth. Somebody talks about compassion. We believe he's very compassionate. He's very peaceful. But compassion does not speak. It is silent. It acts. It works. So, one has to understand that to get to truth, to get to reality, one has to cross the barrier of mental activity. Unless and until you understand this simple point, it's going to be difficult to give realization to people. This is the basic trouble in the Western countries, that they think they can conceive truth through their mental projections. And that's why they have many types of truths. So how do we achieve it? How do we conceive it? What is the way? How did we become human beings? From amoeba. Scientists must ask this question. How did we become? And why did we become? What was the purpose? Why nature worked so hard to make us human beings? Is there any purpose of our life? We have not achieved our purpose. It's something in transition still. That's why there is confusion. There is confusion because we live on relative terminology, relative world. We are not in the absolute. Everything becomes absolute when you feel it on the central nervous system.
So after listening to that, we might try and do a third meditation. Raise that mothering energy of the Kundalini once more up to the central channel to the top of our head. Just put our hands out again and close our eyes. Just take a deep breath in and out. As you do that, you can either do it with your hand or you can try and do it with your hand.
Sorry.
It's that mothering energy right up. Just leave it there. Again, you
Sorry
can
about
do
that.
3 or 7 times. Just take a deep breath, let it out, and relax your shoulders. If any thoughts come by, you just let them go. And just bring your attention every time back to the top of your head. Be gentle with it and let it rest there. And if your attention drops or goes somewhere else, you can just say, not this thought, or not this. Using your hand, or just with your attention, just raise that mothering energy and your attention right to the top of your head and leave it there. might just open our hands, open our eyes, open our hands. And I think the important takeaway is just it's about how you feel, and how you feel will change on a day-to-day basis. But hopefully you have some tools to kind of help you regulate how you feel. And if you're feeling a bit right-sided, a bit active, you can put your hand in the air. And if you're feeling a bit emotional or a bit tired, you can put your right hand towards the ground, with the goal being that we're just trying to balance ourselves and raise that mothering energy right up to the top. And yes, have to do a little bit every day.
And we may have a session a bit later on some of the other ways we can use the elements to balance ourselves. Because basically, if you're hot, you want to get cooled. If you're too cool, you want to get warmer. If you're feeling very wet, you want to get dry. And likewise, the other way. So just balancing, as you said, Mother. We'll do a session especially on balancing. We had somebody who was keen to do that for us, but we might also go through the individual energy centres in the next coming weeks as well. So you can see what works for any centres we're feeling on our hands as you should start to feel now, especially if you've been joining us regularly. You start to feel on your hands how your energy centres are, what's your state of being. So it's quite good to go through what it is, which fingers relate to which chakras, and the different qualities that should be awakening now. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to put a message in the chat or unmute. I'll give you some powers. That's, of course, if you're on Zoom. Let me give you that ability. Otherwise, we'll put some music on and finish off. Let's see, where's that? Oh, yeah. Okay, you all have the power now, those of you on Zoom. Should we finish with raising our Kundalini and putting on our bandhan again, do you think?
So I think as before, left hand in front of us.
Yep.
And right hand revolving around it, right from the base of our spine to the top of our head. And one knot at the top. And we do it 3 times. And on the second time we do it, we do 2 knots. And on the third time we do it, we do 3 knots. Once again, we'll do bandhana protection, which essentially involves moving your right hand from your left to your right. We do that 7 times. So back and forth is 1. So we're up to 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's quite good to do that as many times as you get a chance to, at least every day. Surprising how you become a little Hoover vacuum when you're out and about. Once you have your self-realisation, you're going around in the world hoovering up any difficulties and problems people are having. So it's good to keep yourself up here and protected. And that should have given you time to write any questions down or unmute and talk to us if you would like to, but not compulsory. And everyone's totally thoughtless and no questions. Any questions here from the Brains Trust? Good opportunity to ask a question because we've got some great people here to answer your questions. But everyone's thoughtless, so I guess we'll say goodnight, and I'll put on some more music, and we'll melt away. And look forward to seeing you again, being with you, at least feeling a nice meditation together next week. Thank you, Madhav. That's great. I've got something. Stanley, hi Stanley. Thank you for joining. Stanley said thank you very much. Oh, we've got greetings all the way from Bhutan. It is indeed a great live meditation experience. That's my 2nd time joining live virtual. Wonderful, Rajesh. Thank you for joining and sharing that with us. all the way from Bhutan, everyone. That's really, really nice. That was Rajesh, and Stanley's from... Stanley, where are you from? Where are you joining us from? We haven't been able to find out as yet where Stanley is joining us from, but we certainly appreciate him joining us. Oh, UK. Oh, thank you, iPhone. iPhone's joining from UK. That might be, I remember. Thank you for joining. This is what I was going to play. Let me play it softly. Anyone know what it is? A bit louder. Know what it is? Thanks again, everyone. Bye. Thanks for joining.
Sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama hridayam samarpayami pranam samarpayami tava pada padme matah sarvam samarpayami anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama. त्वमेव साक्षात् हरिप्रिया त्वमेव मावागेश्वरी त्वमेव साक्षात् हरिप्रिया त्वमेव मावागेश्वरी माया महेश्वरी भाग्यं समर्पयामि कर्मं समर्पयामि तव पादपद्मे मातः सर्वं समर्पयामि अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम. स्वयं साध्या स्वयं